I never thought I would end up telling this story. I never thought I would be the guy sitting alone at 2 a.m., replaying every moment, every word, every lie, trying to make sense of it all. But here I am, and I need someone to hear it, someone to understand what betrayal feels like when it comes from the person you loved most in this world. Her name was Sophie. I met her at a friend's party 2 years ago. She had this laugh that could light up a room and eyes that seemed to see right through you. I fell for her instantly. It was effortless, like gravity pulling me in. From the start, she made me feel like I was everything she ever wanted. She made me feel like I was finally home. Everything seemed perfect at first. We were inseparable. I told myself that what we had was real, something that movies try to capture but rarely succeed. She texted me good morning every day, called me at random hours just to hear my voice, and promised me that I was the only one. I trusted her completely. Then came the first cracks. Small things at first. A phone call she didn't want me to hear. A message she would delete quickly when I walked into the room. I told myself it was paranoia. I told myself that love sometimes made you overthink. I didn't want to see the warning signs. It all came crashing down on a Wednesday night. I had stayed late at work, and she asked me to meet her at our favorite restaurant. She was late, and when she finally arrived, she didn't even look at me. Her smile was forced, her eyes darting to her phone every few seconds. Me? Sophie, are you okay? You seem distant. Sophie, I'm fine. Just tired. Long day. But I could feel it. Something was off. Every instinct I had screamed that something wasn't right. I ignored it, hoping I was wrong, hoping that the feeling in my gut was just anxiety, nothing more. A week later, I found the first real proof. I went over to her apartment because she hadn't answered my calls all day. The door was unlocked. I stepped in, and there it was. Her phone lying on the counter. I knew I shouldn't have touched it, but something inside me demanded it. I unlocked it, scrolling through messages that made my heart stop. Jason, can't wait to see you tonight. You're incredible. Sophie, I know, me too. Counting the hours. I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely breathe. Every memory, every moment we shared replayed in my head with a new, horrifying context. The nights she said she was working late, the weekends she was with family, all lies. She was seeing him. She had been seeing him behind my back for months. I confronted her that night. Me, who's Jason? Sophie, what? Who? Me, don't lie. I saw the messages. Who is he? Sophie, you shouldn't have looked at my phone. Me, it doesn't matter. Who is he? Sophie, he's just a friend. Nothing serious. Nothing serious. Those words burned into my brain. My chest ached. My hands trembled. My stomach twisted. I couldn't believe that the girl I loved could look me in the eyes and lie so effortlessly. Me, nothing serious. You're texting him like you're in love with him. Sophie, you're overreacting. You always overreact. You don't trust me. Her manipulation was as sharp as a knife. She made me feel guilty for feeling hurt. She made me doubt my own mind. I left that night, walked the streets aimlessly, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Every laugh, every touch we shared, every whispered promise now felt like a cruel joke. Over the next few days, I tried to confront her multiple times. She twisted every word, every question, every accusation back on me. Me. Why, Sophie, I loved you. I trusted you. What did I do wrong? Sophie, it's not about you. You're suffocating me. You never let me breathe. I needed space. Space. That word became a weapon. Every conversation turned into her blaming me for her betrayal. She gaslighted me so effectively that I started questioning my own sanity. I thought maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I had imagined the entire thing. Then came the public humiliation. She started posting pictures of us together, smiling, laughing, all while I knew she was seeing Jason behind my back. Friends commented, congratulated, told me how lucky I was. And I just sat there, stomach twisting, heart breaking in a way I never thought possible. My life became a theater of lies, and I was the fool in the audience. I found out that she had been inviting him to the same places we went together, sometimes even bringing him along while I was at work. She acted like nothing was happening, smiling at me as if our love was untouched. Me. You brought him here, while I was at work. Sophie. He's my friend. We hung out. It doesn't mean anything. Me. It means everything. You've been lying, cheating, mocking me behind my back. Sophie, you're being dramatic. Stop overreacting. Her words cut deeper than any knife. I couldn't believe someone I loved could betray me in such a calculated, cruel way. It wasn't just the act, it was the pleasure she seemed to take in hiding it, in controlling me, in making me question reality. I remember one night I followed her. I didn't tell anyone, didn't call the police, didn't even plan it. I just needed to see, and I did. I saw them together, laughing, touching, kissing, right in the place we used to call ours. My chest felt like it had been caved in. My legs went weak. I wanted to scream, to run, to disappear, but I just stood there, frozen, watching the woman I loved betray me in the most intimate, personal way possible. Me, thinking, how could she? How could she do this to me? I trusted her more than anyone. When she saw me, she didn't even flinch. She didn't hide. She smiled at me like she had caught me spying. And that smile, that cruel, satisfied smile, was more painful than anything else. I walked away that night feeling more hollow than I ever thought a person could feel. I drank until I couldn't remember my own name. I slept on the floor of my apartment, shaking, crying, trying to erase the image from my mind. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together, and every laugh, every touch, every whispered word she ever said to me felt like a lie, a weapon used to wound me slowly. I confronted her again the next week. Me, why did you do this? I gave you everything. Sophie, you gave me nothing. You were controlling, suffocating. I needed someone who could appreciate me differently. Me, so cheating, lying, humiliating me in public, bringing him to our spots. That's appreciation. Sophie, you're twisting everything. You always twist everything. It wasn't the words that hurt. It was the truth behind them. She enjoyed the power, the control. The ability to make me feel small, insignificant, and utterly powerless. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe. Everywhere I looked, I saw reminders of her betrayal. Every song, every place, every mutual friend was a trigger. My world became a battlefield where I was fighting against someone I had loved with every fiber of my being. And then came the final blow. I found out she had been recording private conversations. Conversations where I confessed everything, shared my deepest fears, my darkest thoughts, my most vulnerable self, and she used them. She used them as ammunition to manipulate me, to gaslight me, to humiliate me in ways I didn't even know were possible. Me, you recorded me. How could you? Sophie, I didn't record you. You're imagining things. Me, I saw the files on your laptop. You've been using them. My Sophie, you're paranoid. You're losing it. You need help. She made me question my reality, my sanity, everything I believed about love, trust, and loyalty. For months, I walked around like a ghost, haunted by her lies, her betrayals, her laughter in my memories. And every day I wondered if I would ever feel safe, ever feel loved, ever feel human again. After that, I couldn't stay in the same city with her. Every street, every cafe, every corner reminded me of her lies. I moved out of our apartment, leaving behind everything I thought was ours. I took only the essentials, clothes, my laptop, a few books, but left behind the memories, or at least I tried. I found a small studio on the outskirts of town. It was quiet, almost painfully so. Silence became my only companion, but even that couldn't drown out the echoes of her betrayal. Some nights I would wake up screaming, my body drenched in sweat, reliving the scenes over and over. The image of her with him was burned into my mind like a permanent scar. I started seeing a therapist. Dr. Halverson was the first person I told everything to, the first person who didn't judge me for feeling broken. Dr. Halverson, it's not your fault. You were manipulated, you were deceived, but you survived. Me, survived. I feel like I'm dying every day. Dr. Halverson, healing takes time. It won't be linear. You'll have good days and bad days, but you will heal. I clung to those words like a lifeline. But healing didn't erase the rage, the humiliation, the sense of being used. I began to write everything down, pouring my anger, pain, and disbelief onto pages. I wrote letters I never sent, diaries she would never read, journals that contained the rawest version of my suffering. Months passed. I tried to move on. Dates were awkward. Conversations felt hollow. Every woman I met was compared to her. Every smile reminded me of the lies she had whispered into my ears. I was broken, but I was alive. And that was something. Then came the revelation that shattered me again. I discovered that Sophie had not only been seeing Jason, but had also lied about her entire past. She had fabricated stories about family tragedies, career struggles, even illnesses, all to manipulate me emotionally, to keep me hooked, to make me feel needed, indispensable, as if I alone could save her from the world. Me thinking every tear, every confession, every heartfelt moment was a performance. She played me like a puppet. The anger that had been simmering inside me boiled over. I wanted to expose her, to show the world the real Sophie, but part of me feared she would twist it, spin it, and make me the villain again. She had done it before, and I knew she could do it again. I contacted a few mutual friends cautiously, testing the waters, sharing pieces of the story. Most of them were shocked, some defensive, some didn't believe me at all. She had a way of charming everyone, of presenting herself as the victim, while I was painted as the obsessive, paranoid ex-boyfriend. It became clear to me then, her betrayal wasn't just personal, it was systemic. She manipulated people, events, even emotions to make herself untouchable. And I had fallen into the trap head first without seeing the net until it was too late. One night, in a rare moment of clarity, I decided to face her one last time. I drove to her apartment, heart hammering, fists clenched, mind a storm of rage and sorrow. When she opened the door, she smiled, the same cruel, knowing smile I had seen months ago. Me. Why? Just tell me why you did all of this. Sophie. I didn't do anything. You're imagining things again. Me? Don't lie. Don't even try. I know everything. I know about Jason, the lies, the manipulations, the recordings. I know you played me, humiliated me, and mocked me. Sophie laughs lightly. And what do you expect me to do? Apologize. You're pathetic. You're pathetic for believing in me so blindly. Her words hit me like a physical blow. Every ounce of pain, every night spent crying, every second of humiliation was reflected in that single mocking sentence. I realized then that some people aren't capable of remorse. Some people don't love. They exploit. They consume trust and leave a hollow shell behind. I left her apartment that night, but something inside me shifted. The despair, the anger, the pain, it transformed into determination. I couldn't make her feel guilty. I couldn't make her love me. But I could reclaim myself. I could rebuild my life on my own terms, free from her manipulation. I focused on my work, pouring all my energy into projects I had abandoned during our relationship. I trained, I read, I traveled. Each small victory, each step forward was a rebellion against the chains she had wrapped around my heart. Months turned into a year. I stopped checking her social media, stopped seeking validation from people who knew her. The hollow pit in my chest began to fill with something new. Strength, independence, clarity. I learned to recognize red flags, to trust my instincts, and to protect myself from people like Sophie. And yet, even with all this progress, the scars remained. Trust once shattered is hard to rebuild. I found myself hesitant to form close connections, hyper-aware of deceit, terrified of being vulnerable again. Every smile, every touch, every whispered word of affection was met with a shadow of doubt. One day, I ran into Jason. He didn't recognize me at first, or maybe he pretended not to. Me? Do you know what you did? Do you know what you took from me? Jason, I didn't mean me. You didn't mean to steal her from me. You didn't mean to destroy my life. You didn't mean to humiliate me at every turn. He looked down, ashamed, but I could see no true understanding, no genuine remorse. I realized then that it wasn't just Sophie. The people around her, the enablers, the ones who laughed or ignored, all played a part in the devastation. Betrayal doesn't exist in isolation. It spreads, infects, and multiplies. I walked away from him, from the memories, from the anger. I decided that my life couldn't be dictated by her, by Jason, or by anyone who had fed on my trust. I decided to live for myself, to heal, and to reclaim the life I had lost. Even now, years later, I remember the betrayal vividly, the pain, the humiliation, the manipulation. It's all still there, etched into my soul, but it doesn't control me anymore. I tell this story not for revenge, not for pity, but to remind myself, and anyone who has loved and lost, that betrayal is brutal, but survival is stronger.